I'm Paul Benhaim. I am CEO of Elixnol Global Limited, an Australian ASX listed public company that is involved with the hemp and cannabis space around the world. Yeah, it's an honour to come back to the top of the world here in the Himalayas for the first Asian Hemp Summit. It's the first summit, it's not the first gathering in Asia of people in industry, but it is the first well-organised, multicultural, independent events that I've seen in Asia, and that's absolutely crucial to be a melting pot of different people in different cultures to network with each other, so that people starting out don't have to start out without learning from the experiences and the mistakes, some people say, that we've created, we've experienced over the decades of working in this industry. The food experiences in Asia are part of what inspired me to get involved with industrial hemp more than 2 decades ago now. And I've been in close contacts with people in India, in China, and within other countries within Southeast Asia for much of the last 2 decades. And the change that is palpable all over the world is now coming to Asia. Asia has two countries within it, which have over 2/3 of the world's population. So we have over 2 billion people in Asia that have a long history of hemp and cannabis. So it's very exciting to see these people start to be aware of the environmental damage that existing crops, existing agriculture, existing production is creating, and coming back to our plants that originated in these parts of the world to make a difference. So to be a part of that and to assist in that is a great honour. My foundation for everything I do is from who I am, and who I am is defined obviously from my upbringing and childhood, which was more in North London, middle class background, which was dramatically changed when I first visited Asia. I actually visited Thailand originally, and found myself not being so attracted to the party and the fun that all my friends were interested in, even at that young age. And I chose to go to a Vipassana meditation, which really showed me that there was another aspect that I was not aware of really, about what other cultures exist in this world. So I decided to follow that and spend a lot of time over the next 5 or 10 years traveling Asia, spending times with monks, living in temples, and really immersing myself in these various cultures, which ultimately led to an awareness of who I am and what I wanted to do on this planet. And what I wanted to do wasn't solidified in terms of subject matter at that time, except that I started to become aware of food, nutrition, and how universal food and nutrition is for so many people. We all require food, just like we all require shelter in our lives. And these two things were very interesting to me. Food, I realized very early on that the more natural, closer to nature that you can eat, the healthier one will be. And I recognized in my upbringing in London that was not the case. Most people were eating processed foods. As a young teenager, I was eating foods that ready meals went in the microwave, these kind of things. And it was far removed from what I recognized as being vibrant, healthy, and energetic foods in harmony with nature. And I say in harmony with nature because, again, that's what I learned to be our true selves, is actually by being in the trees. And that's why I take a walk in the morning, for example. Wherever I am in the world, I do my best to get out into nature, which just reminds me of, brings a humbleness to who and where we are today. When I found that I wanted to get involved with food, when I found that I wanted to get involved with essential fatty acids, and I discovered hemp, I realized that there was something that actually differed to what I believed. I was a potential business, and I was against business. I was against corporate companies and big multinationals and globalization. I was quite against politics and all of these other things. So it's quite amusing now to find myself head of a public company, funding political lobbying and doing all of the things that I was actually against. For me, it's an excellent journey, and it doesn't conflict at all with my ethical beliefs. In fact, it makes me even stronger and more passionate to do what I'm doing, to make a change from the base, to make a change within the existing system. So I started, when I was younger, I thought, complaining and being more of an activist was the best thing that I could do, to say, I don't like this, I don't like that, we should do this. But I soon recognized that actually a more efficient way to make a change on this planet was to go to the people that had the biggest power and persuade them in my own unique individual way, through using the hemp plant, that they should become involved and make a change. Why? Because I believe that when people recognize hemp as an alternative, as an option to their daily lives, an option to pharmaceutical medicines, an option to the insecticide and pesticide and water heavy cotton clothing, an option to the petrochemical plastics that exist in the world, maybe, just maybe, they would wake up to go, wow, look at me, look, what have we become as a human race in the last few hundred years? How have we affected the world that we live in? And just looking around us, which for me is obvious every day, I recognize people are blind, because they have to often just get up in the morning, they have to bathe and wake up, have their coffee and their stimulants to deal with the sugar content that they've had from their foods the day before, deal with their diseases, fight and by working to pay rent and to pay interest on money that doesn't exist in their world for somebody else to create something that creates more of that damage again. And that is what most people do all of their lives, until they get old and they go, oh, what did I do with my life? What is life about? I feel very grateful for the opportunity that was given to me by traveling in the Himalayas when I was young, by traveling in India, Nepal and other parts of Asia and around the rest of the world. So I was very grateful for the opportunity that I had to meet these different cultures within Asia that showed me the real meaning of life. And the real meaning of life is not about getting a job, not about making money and paying rent and surviving. That survival that is happening, and when we look at some third world countries who don't have so many resources, that don't have healthcare, yet they are some of the healthiest, most vibrant people that I've met on this world, and they don't need to pay rent, and they just build their houses. And people look at them and going, oh, these are survival people. And I'm like, no, these are happy, accepting people. Now that's not so easy, of course, in the West. There are many things that we do appreciate. Running water, toilets, and the basics of healthcare that are very important, that I do see as very beneficial in the West. But from an Eastern perspective, it's about the reason why we do what we do on a daily basis that makes who we are. So I bring that through business, I bring that through my team, by working with what is, by not fighting against something new, knowing that people will recognize that we can make a difference. It's a driving force to be a Dharma company for myself. It's my personal driving force, and as the leader of the company, I try and bring that without using the terms that may put other people off, because I'm not strictly religious. I accept all people and all religions and all perspectives of life. I think that is part of the color of being human in this world, that we all see things in a different way. So understanding and bringing the mentality of acceptance of how things are to people, and knowing that we can grow together strong as a team if we work in harmony with each other, which for me is working in harmony with nature. So ensuring that we support our staff by bringing them healthy foods and where we eat together, by bringing our staff to events where we work together and live as an extended family, because that's what we are. That is the foundation of Lixinol Global, and our mission is to help the people and the planet through everything that we do with hemp and cannabis. I would like to see more people in more cultures using hemp and cannabis products in their daily lives. I would like to see hemp and cannabis not be so unique and so special and so alternative and new, because it's not. It's ancient. It's an ancient crop. It's an ancient product in its various forms that can be used and has been used in all these cultures. So to re-see it within the mainstream distribution channels, mainstream influencing people saying that they use hemp, and it's normal. It's normal to buy a piece of hemp clothing. It's normal to eat hemp for breakfast. It's normal to use hemp when you want to relax and sleep at night from your stressful day. It's to make that a normal part of everyday life. That's what I would like to see. When I say eat hemp for breakfast, I'm not saying eat hemp and get high or and get intoxicated first thing in the morning. What I mean is eating things like hemp seeds, hemp seed oil, or hemp protein powder. So you can use hemp protein powder, for example, in your smoothie in the morning. You can put hemp seeds on your yogurt in the morning or on your porridge, and you can use hemp seed oil and drizzle that over a salad or something like that. So all of these are high nutritional forms of omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids. They help with good quality skin, good quality hair, and building an immune system. Omega-3, 6 essential fats are called such because they are essential to human health. You cannot live without them, actually, and most people in the West have been consuming less of these products due to the increasing amount of processed foods that they eat. So if, like the people that I originally met in the Himalayan foothills, if you eat subsistence food from the farm as natural as possible, then you'll probably have enough essential fatty acids in your life. The thing is, most people don't do that. Most people don't eat as close to nature as they can. Some people do, of course, but they are very, very few between. So it's much easier to add essential fatty acids from a natural plant-based source. And hemp seeds are extremely natural. They're unprocessed. They literally come from the plant itself, and they just get shelled or cleaned in a very natural way without using chemicals or heat. Those are the healthy, vibrant products that really fueled the beginning of my interest in bringing the hemp industry into business and to start distributing that in a mainstream way. So one of our subsidiaries, Hemp Foods Australia, intends to be bringing hemp seeds not just as something you can add to your breakfast, because that requires education and teaching people. Instead, what we intend to do is bring products that already incorporate hemp, that are not called hemp products per se. So you can maybe get your porridge with hemp seeds in, for example. If you're going to have a ready meal, we'll have it with something nutritious in that already. So we'll put it in those products that people already take to bring them a step closer to who they are, to eating in harmony with nature, in harmony with themselves. The threats to our business right now is that we can be a problem at our own success. So we are growing rapidly right now, which means that we have to bring on lots of new people. And because we have strong ethics, we want to make sure we have the best people. So if we hire too quickly, then we hire maybe people that don't meet the culture within our business. That can be a problem. If we hire too slowly, then we don't grow as quickly as our potential exists. If we choose to get distracted by all the opportunities around us within this industry, and there are many opportunities within hemp in terms of we've heard at this conference, for example, then maybe we'll get distracted at our main focus, which is to take hemp to as many people as possible. So they're the threats about our business, that we have to keep focus, to work with the best quality people, to build excellent teams, and to ensure that we meet our goals. In 24 years of working in this industry, the government and legislation have continued to be a challenge. But again, from the more dharmic background that I came from, I never saw it as a problem. I saw it as an opportunity to actually make a change. So I've been very proactive and positive in terms of positioning our company at the cutting edge of what we can do, and showing that as an example, ensuring that we communicate with politicians in the countries that we work in to ensure that they understand why we do what we do, and that when it's done properly, there is no harm. Everything within the hemp and cannabis industry is safe compared to most of the alternatives to those products today. All, I would say, in fact, I'd be so bold to say. So yes, the legislation can be seen as challenging. And every day it seems there is something new in terms of legislation around the world. And right now, this in 2019, legislation is changing rapidly, and that change, I believe, is for the good. And we will only find out over time. But if I look at that, it's like looking at stock prices every day. It can make you dizzy and it can be a distraction. So what we do is we focus on legal markets today, doing what is legal today, being very aware around us where the changes are happening, so that we can move, so I can use the contacts that I've made over 24 years to work together with more people in more teams to take advantage of the growth that is said to be over a $22 billion industry in just a couple of years from now. So it's a large growth ahead, and all of us in the industry need to work together with lots of great people. So we invite everyone to join us on this journey to get hemp to as many people as we can. The legalization of hemp through the Farm Bill that was signed by Donald Trump at the end of 2018 has significantly affected Elixinol, particularly in its hemp CBD dietary supplement-based business within the US. It has allowed for conversations with larger organizations to progress now to allow access to more mainstream distribution of hemp products within the United States. It has allowed us to work with national marketing agencies, national PR agencies, and national branding companies that before that change were not willing to work with companies like ourselves. So this year we are spending our largest budget we've ever spent by far, working with some of the most professional companies to access a lot more people. Hemp actually fits most, if not all, of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and it is something that I believe the United Nations is taking interest in these days. A number of countries, or a number of at least industry people, and countries, it seems, question still though how much influence the United Nations and the World Health Organization really has on the reality of business these days. From my perspective as a corporation working with governments, I would say the United Nations still does have a significant influence on many countries from a political perspective. So, and that is very important that you have support, not from the top, of course, more importantly, or just as importantly, from the bottom up as well, for something that needs to be brought out into this world. So it is exciting that the United Nations are starting to recognize, or at least consider, the effect, the positive effect that hemp has, and it seems as if they are also recognizing the mistakes that they made by putting cannabis into the 1961 single convention on narcotic drugs, saying that cannabis is one of the most dangerous crops or plants or products in existence. The main obstacles to hemp being accessed by most people around the world are now the larger corporations distributing these products as if it's a regular product in different forms, actually. And for that to happen, for that form of distribution to happen, it requires different legislation that is clear, black and white in terms of supporting industry, because that is the power of the individual these days. Whether you think it's right or wrong, is within the power of where we spend every dollar in every day. That is a vote. That is the way an individual has power to vote on what they believe. So if you go and buy a product in a plastic bag, you are supporting a product in a plastic bag. If you purchase something with just a few chemicals in it, well, you are supporting a chemical company. If you buy something that was made through animal testing or supported child labor somewhere, that's what you're doing, that's what you're voting for. Now, even as small as a vote as a dollar may seem, it is the global mentality of and consciousness of the vote and everything that we do that makes a difference. It truly does make a difference in this world. they can visit our website at Lixinol Global, ELIXINOL and contact one of our subsidiaries, either Elixinol in the US, Hemp Foods Australia, or Nanyara, a medical cannabis company, or any of our offices in Europe, or Japan, the US, Australia, or more as they come online. Thank you.